All right, Coach, congratulations on the win. Offensive bats came alive. What did you see out there? What did you like?
Yeah, I thought some of the at-bats early were pretty good, like the 2-out walks and then the 2-out, trying to get the double down the line. Was it Ziska? Somebody put a ball down the line. Previous one. That was after the Ziska 2-out walk. Put some stuff together. We did some things offensively, stole a couple bases. A bunt was there that Nessler executed later, and then the big swing by Lex.
What did you think of Tyler's outing? And were you hoping he'd go longer?
Yeah, we were trying to get at least 12 outs, but at that point we had the 9. We had the bullpen fully locked and loaded with 3 days off, so we knew we were going to try to use all those guys short. He just kind of lost command a little bit. But we talked about it. Like, he went, as long as he's went all year, the week before, that's a lot, and he just looked a little tired there in the 4th.
What did you see out of the bullpen today?
I thought Bauer was on it. Kramer was good in his short little stint, and then Castellano was good. Honestly, he should have got out of that with nothing. Probably that line drive probably should have been caught, and then the walks are the only way that we kind of gave up those runs.
Chase where you want him to be?
I mean, after that, beginning of that, it didn't look like it, but the last 3 hitters, it looked like he was back on it. I was a little concerned with it once it got 10-2, whether or not. And that's a guy that pitches off adrenaline, and at 10-2, it's probably not. But he found it there at the end.
Is he kind of coming off of something? Is he trying to get back to his mid-season form?
Yeah, we're just trying to use him a little bit more. I think he was 8 days between outings, and he would have been 7 days between the next one. We're just trying to get him a little bit more work. I think he's better that way.
You happy defensively with this team today?
For the most part, yeah. Especially when we took Braid out and moved him around. Thought Braden bouncing over to third, made a couple nice plays. Mikey played his tail off at shortstop. 2 really, those are upper-level catches. The first one was really good.
Nessler was sparked there at the top of the order, hits the home run. Speak to what he brings to the table.
Tenacious at-bats. Like that guy, we call him, he's like a little angry elf. But he fights for every pitch. The guys know it, and he's ultra competitive, and he can do a lot of things. Like, you saw the backside home run from that guy. Like, you've seen him pull balls, you've seen him bunt. He can do it all.
Florida Gulf Coast, being an in-state team, has not been a frequent midweek opponent, I guess, due to location and distance. Is this kind of a one-off? Is this a game that you would play in the future? What's kind of the future of this series?
No, we talked with Coach Tillett. This is something we both want to continue. It's 2 quality teams, and that's a regional team most years. If we can get them on the schedule, especially up here, we're going to try to do it.
Why'd Break come out when he did?
I had some shoulder soreness, like we weren't going to mess with it, so especially with the weekend coming up. So he told me he was a little sore, get him out, and he had the 2 at-bats and move on from there.
The depth of your roster, I think it's kind of been underestimated. You've had some injuries you've had to deal with, and catcher, you got 2 quality catchers that have stepped up. Just to speak of the depth and how you built that depth through your roster this season.
Yeah, you're looking at it like, Sundin, obviously a quality catcher. Danny Nero is coming in. Dylan King is a guy that we think can start. So, behind the plate, you can't be short there. I would like a little bit more infield depth. It's nice to see those 4 guys that we use, but the outfield depth is really nice, especially with the left-handed, right-handed matchup stuff that we can do. It's nice to see.
What do you feel like this team has learned over this past week that you want them to take with them as you go back into conference play this weekend?
Well, I think offensively, what separates us from when we can score runs and when we can't. The tenacity of the at-bats, the execution, that's just the pitch-by-pitch battle. When we do that, we're pretty good. When we don't, it's not fun to watch. I don't think they like it much either.
Did you talk about last Friday at all during the week?
Yeah, not during the week. Not since, I would say, Saturday before we went on the field, but probably the last time we talked about it.
Will you talk about it before this Friday?
No. I don't.
So.
Yeah, to me, that one's over. I already said my piece twice on that one. So
let's talk about the importance of this weekend. Big 12 play once again. Cincinnati coming to town. It's a big series.
Yeah, you got 4 of them left, and this is kind of the stretch run. We talked about the season being a marathon, and you got to sprint sometimes, and this is the sprint to the finish. And Cincinnati's a well-coached, talented team that does a lot of things offensively that you got to prepare for, and they're playing pretty well. So we got our work cut out for us.
I know it's cliche, control the destiny, but only a couple of games separating everybody here.
Yeah, and I think when you look at that, hey, we got a chance to win series. Like every series that we play, we're trying to win a series and let the dust kind of settle where it may.
Obviously, you guys are, in the hunt for a regional on top of everything else. Is that something that the team is obviously aware of? Is that something you talk about, or just kind of an unspoken kind of thing that everyone knows what they got to work towards?
Yeah, that's obviously the baseline goal for every year. We talked about the standard is to play in the NCAA tournament. Like, that's either a successful season or not for us in this program, and that's what we want to do, and that's but it's not a day-to-day focus. It's playing UCF baseball and taking care of that stuff will put us in position to do that.
Familiar foe for UCF, some guys are familiar with it. Does that play into anything in your scouting, your planning for?
For Cincinnati, yeah, a little bit, especially with Ted being here and them being in the league before. Now they have some new players, obviously with Coach Bishop coming in, and he brought some guys from Central Michigan that probably we should have played last week that are now at Cincinnati. So some of that stuff we got to prepare, and it's a different style. Like we played when I was at Notre Dame, we played Central Michigan in the 21 region. I think we played them 3 times that year. Like there's some things you got to be prepared for.
What have you learned from the Big 12 since you obviously, you had Central Michigan, so you had a bye week, but, many of the bracketology has 8 teams going to the field. I know you felt that this was going to be the strongest baseball conference maybe in the country, but what have you learned going through it now that you might take in your back of your mind here going to the second half here?
Well, I think that just the overall depth of every team. Like we talked about it being super regional weekends every weekend, and that's exactly what it's felt like. Some of the guys that never experienced that before, they start to understand what it is. And the guys that have, they're like, yep, that's exactly what it feels like. Just dealing with the physicality of every team, the talent of every team. And from week to week, it's completely different styles of play. And you have to adjust, and the system has to be able to handle from what West Virginia does to K-State to Oklahoma to now Cincinnati. Like, there's just different styles of play, and you got to adjust to it.
Is that the difference between a league like the Big 12 and maybe some of the previous leagues that UCF has been in? Is the vast differences in styles from each teams and what they bring to the table?
Yeah, I think that's in most Power 5 leagues. Like you're going to get that. Like every weekend's completely different. We talk about the college baseball scene, like it's week to week. One, you're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids. 2, it's talented teams that do different things.
But do you like where your team is right now?
I do, especially after the adjustments we've made since Friday. Like there's some pieces. I think we're getting healthier. Should get another arm back hopefully here in the next 7 to 10 days, and then Sonny looks like we'll have him hopefully this weekend. So.
I was about to ask you, speaking of injuries, is there the chance that Sonny returns to the lineup at some point this weekend?
Yeah, we would hope so. I mean, he's swinging. I think he has another appointment tomorrow. Hope to get him in the BP, maybe give him some live at-bats and kind of see where he's at.
With Sonny being out, Dylan King come in and take over. How big has been having him over the course of this time with Sonny D injured? He ended up getting across the plate twice tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's offensive. Like, his ceiling in this program is really, really high. The catching, receiving, and the big throw. Like, that's a really good throw. That's one where you don't even need a tag. He put it right on the bag. Or the guy that can run, the guy that's stolen bases that we honestly didn't do a great job of holding right there, and he made it up for it with his arm strength. So Dylan's been huge for us.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you this weekend.
Appreciate it.